and welcome to the 11th ArchiCAD video tutorial for beginners. In this video we're going to be talking about our roof tool. In order to do that, I'm going to move a little bit to the right here. I'm going to select my wall tool first, and I'm just going to draw 4 walls so that we have something to work on. So we're going to do, let's say, a 20-meter wall this way, 10-meter wall downwards, and then we're just going to close it up. Then I'm going to select my roof tool, and I'm actually going to go on a different story, let's say on the first story, in order to draw our roof. You have different geometry methods in ArchiCAD for drawing out a roof. The first one is the single plane geometry method. For this you have to first draw a reference line for your roof, so we're going to do one click here, one click here, and the third click is going to be the direction in which your roof goes. So I'm going to click inside of my walls here, and now I'm just going to draw out my roof. I get this information that as a result of the last operation, elements have been created and or have changed their position on currently unseen stories. This means that either the home story of the roof or the height of the roof is set in such a way that it makes the roof not visible on this story. I'm just gonna hit continue. And for now we cannot see the roof on our floor plan, so in order to see on which story my roof is, I'm just going to click through my different stories, and I have found it here on the below second. I'm just going to select it. I'm going to hit Ctrl+T and go to settings, and I'm going to set the home story. I have it set to first story, so that's good. I'm going to set the height to project 0 to be at 3 meters because that is the height of my walls, and I'm going to do show on all stories. I'm going to say home story only, so I want my roof to be visible only on its home story. I'm going to click OK. It gives me the same information again. I'm going to hit continue, and if I go to the first story, now I can see my roof. I'm going to click again on the ground floor and then back on the first story just so that I can see the outlines of my walls. I'm going to select my roof. I'm going to click over here on this corner, and I'm going to make sure I have the offset all edges option selected here, and I'm just going to offset the edges 0.5 meter. So this is one way of drawing a roof. Let's select our marquee tool and then hit F5. And it looks pretty awkward now, but that's not the point. We are just trying to learn how to draw different roofs right now. I'm gonna go back to the floor plan. I'm gonna remove my marquee. And another way of drawing a roof is I'm gonna first delete this one. I'm gonna select my roof tool again, and I'm going to select this multi-plane geometry method. And for this you can either do a complex roof, so you click on different points, or you can do a rectangular and rotated rectangular. I'm just going to leave this first option selected just so you see how that works. I'm gonna do 4 clicks, and now we have our multi-plane roof. If we go in our 3D view, we can see our roof. Let's select it, and in order to make this sit on the actual walls, I'm gonna press this button here. I'm gonna set the height in reference to the project 0, and I'm going to change this value to 3, and this way our roof is right on top of our walls. I'm going to go back to our 2D view, and we can see that the sectioning of the roof is now different because we moved it down. I am going to select this roof just so that we can do a little bit more browsing here through the settings. So over here is where you can change the structure of your roof, so you can either have it be basic, so just one layer. You can see that now where it's sectioned there is just one basic fill, and if you do composite you can change over here from this drop down menu the different type of roofs. I've talked about these composite materials in a different video. I'm going to link that in somewhere on the screen so you can go more in depth on that if you want to. Over here you can change the floor plan display and section display of your roof, so you can change the uncut line pans. Let's make it a bit nicer looking, black maybe. Overhead line pans also black. Let's say the cover fill roof tile 01 is okay. The cover fill pan I'm going to put something lighter, maybe this light gray. And I'm going to do the cover fill background pan to be transparent. This is because I want to be able to see underneath the wall. So now I'm going to just use my eyedropper tool to copy the properties of this roof. So now all the other roofs that we're going to draw are going to have the same properties. I'm going to select this roof again and go through these settings a bit more. Over here you can change the roof pitch, so you can input a different angle. Over here, like I said, you change the pivot line elevation of your roof, so the height of the base of your roof. Over here you can change the setting of your eaves, so you can either have your eaves offset at an equal distance on all sides, or you can set this to manual, and in this case you can just change the look of your eaves however you would like. But if you don't want them to be like this, you can just go back to manual, and over here you can change the offset of your eaves. So now it's set to 80 centimeters. I'm gonna do half a meter. That's what it looks like right now. I'm gonna do the marquee tool again so that we see what we have in 3D. I'm going to select my roof over here again, because now I want to show you that over here is where you can change the edge angle. So right now it is set to perpendicular. I usually like to have it set to vertical. And over here is how you can change the surfaces of your roof. So if you click over here and then all of these other buttons, you can override the surfaces of your roof. By default, ArchiCAD puts some roof tiles on top and woods on the sides and the bottom of the roof. And again, I'm going to use my eyedropper tool so that I can copy all of these properties that we're changing, so that all of the new roofs that we're drawing will have the same properties. And that is pretty much the main settings that you can change for a roof. Of course, if you go in a bit more detail over here, you can change a few more stuff, and I'm going to show you some of that in a few minutes. Okay, so in order to learn more about how you can draw roofs in ArchiCAD, I actually googled to see different roof types, and this is one of the first images that came up. So we're gonna just try and just draw all of these roofs in ArchiCAD. In order to do that, I'm going to go back to my ground floor. I'm gonna select my walls, and I'm gonna click on one of these corners. I'm gonna do multiply. I'm gonna leave all the settings as they are. I'm gonna click OK, and then I'm just gonna drag maybe for 30 meters, and then do 5 more copies over here. And then I'm going to hit Ctrl Shift and D and move 5 more 20 meters down. So the first type of roof that we're gonna do is a gable roof, so a 2-plane roof. I'm going to make sure I have my roof tool selected. I'm going to go to my first story. I'm gonna make sure again that I do the eyedropper click over here so that I copy all the properties of this roof, and I'm going to do 1 click over here. And in order to show you a different type of construction method, I'm going to use this rectangular option. So we have 1 click done over there already, and the second click over here. And in order to make this into a gable roof, we're just going to select it, click on this point here, and I'm going to stretch the horizontal ridge. And I'm going to do another click somewhere over here, and then the same thing on this side. And in order to make all of our eaves uniform, I'm just going to click over here and do that. So that is basically how you do a gable roof. If we go in our 3D view, this is what that looks like. The second type of roof is a hip roof, which we've already done one of those already, but I'm just going to show you again how to do it. I'm going to select my roof tool again, and let's use this third construction method, which is a rotated rectangular construction method. And for this you do 3 clicks. You do 1, 2, and then the third one is the width of your roof. That is another way of drawing a hip roof. I'm going to go over here. The third option is a Dutch roof. I'm just going to drag a copy of this hip roof over here. So I selected it, Ctrl Shift and D, and I'm putting it over here. And I'm going to go to the settings, and over here I'm just going to click on this multi-plane geometry, and over here you can insert different roof levels. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click here on add, and as you can see I have 1 and 2 levels. So here is where you change the settings of the first level, here is where you change the settings of the second level. I'm just going to leave it as it is, see what we're going to get. I'm going to click OK, and if I do the marquee tool, go in my 3D view, And this is what that looks like. If we select it, we can see that we have a new level generated over here. So in order to change this into a thatch roof, we're going to go back to our floor plan. We're gonna select our roof. I'm just gonna stretch out this horizontal ridge. So I'm gonna click over here and bring this all the way to this line. Once again here, I'm going to do the same thing. And if we go back to our 3D view, we have a thatch roof. So the next type of roof is a mansard roof. So let's try and do that. I'm going to once again just select my roof tool and do a multi-plane geometry roof. I'm going to select this rectangular construction method and I'm going to do 2 clicks. I am going to draw a marquee and go in my 3D view. I'm going to select this roof, and as we did before, I'm going to go in settings and add another level here. So for the first level, I'm going to increase this pitch to maybe 75 degrees. I'm going to do the elevation at 1.5 meters. And the second pitch, let's just leave it like it is and see how that looks. I'm going to click OK. And this is what that looks like. Because of this edge angle being set to vertical, it looks kind of odd, so I'm going to change this to perpendicular. And I am also going to maybe increase this second level pitch as well. So I'm going to go back to settings and maybe set this to, let's say, 40 degrees. No, that looks weirder. Maybe just stretching these 2 points again will give us the look that we want. So we're going to go back to our floor plan, remove marquee, select this roof, and then just do this roof pitch maybe at 55 degrees, and then this one as well, 55 degrees. So we've changed the roof pitch to this portion here, this small triangle, not the whole roof, and also this small triangle here. Let's go back to our 3D view, and this is what that looks like. The flat roof option in ArchiCAD, you're not going to use the roof tool at all for that. You're just going to use a regular slab. Let's do it just for the sake of this video. We're just gonna select the rectangular geometry method, do 2 clicks, and then offset all of the edges. Draw a marquee and look at it in 3D. This is what that looks like. Let's select it and make it look a bit more pretty. Make the lines all black, and then change the building materials so that it looks more uniform. Maybe make it into a concrete. To make our job easier, let's just make a bigger marquee to see all of these roofs that we've created. The next one on the list is a regular shed roof. Okay, we're gonna go back to our 2D view and go over here. I'm going to select my roof tool once again, and for this you're obviously going to need the single plane geometry method. I'm gonna do a reference line, the pitch direction, and then a rectangle. This is like the first roof we drew in ArchiCAD since when we started this tutorial. Once again, I'm going to offset all the edges 0.5 meter. Going to go back to my 3D view. Let's decrease the pitch of this roof, select it and change this to maybe 20 degrees. And in order to make these two a bit nicer, let's increase the height of these walls. So I'm going to select these walls and these walls, and I'm going to input maybe 7 meters. And now in order to eliminate this upper part of the walls, I'm just going to select these. I'm going to hit this button here which says trim elements to roof shell, and I'm going to select the roof that I want these walls to be trimmed to, and I want to keep the lower part of these walls. So this way the walls are trimmed to the roof. We're going to repeat the same thing over here. Select these walls, hit trim to roof, select our roof, and pin the lower part because that's the part that we want to keep. Moving on, we're going to create a butterfly roof. We're going to go back to our floor plan, and again with our roof tool, I'm going to just select again this multi-plane geometry method, draw our roof, and I'm going to stretch out this point all the way to the edge, then this point all the way over here, click this button and then back to this button so that the overhangs are constant. So in ArchiCAD we can't input a negative value for the roof pitch. What I'm going to do instead, I'm going to select this roof, and what you can do in ArchiCAD is right click and split this multi-plane roof into single plane roofs. Once we do this, you get a warning that you can go back to having it back to a multi-plane roof. I'm going to say split anyway, and as you can see, instead of having one roof, we have two roof elements. Because we have our groups activated, when we select one of them, both of them get selected. In order to suspend the groups, you can either click this button or hit Alt G. And now if you select this roof, you can select it individually from this. So I'm going to select it, I'm gonna move it, so Control and D, and I'm gonna move it over here. And then I'm just going to select both roofs, and I'm just going to move them back. So I'm going to select this point over here and then put it over here. If I go back to my 3D view, we see we have the butterfly shaped roof. I'm going to select these walls again, and because we have our group suspended, only one wall gets selected. If we unsuspend the groups again, we're gonna have all of our 4 walls selected. We're gonna increase the height to 7 meters, and I'm going to trim these walls to the roof again, and I'm going to select this roof once again and pin down the lower part. So the next roof type is a gambrel roof. I'm going to go back to my floor plan, and in order to create a gambrel roof, I'm going to modify this first roof over here. I'm going to drag a copy of it over here, and I'm going to go to settings and add a level. I'm going to modify this pitch to the first level pitch to 70 degrees. I'm just gonna leave the second one like it is. Okay, I think we got a bit of a weird look. Let's see. Yes, we just have to drag these 2 points again to the edge. So I'm gonna select my roof, drag this all the way over here. Change the edge angles to perpendicular, and I'm also going to increase the height of these walls to 7 meters, maybe even 8, and then once again trim them to the roof. So trim elements to roof, select our roof and pin the lower part. The next type of roof is a dormer roof. Let's try and create that. I'm going to drag a copy of this gable roof over here, and in order to create a dormer roof over here, I'm going to select my roof tool once again. I am going to select this single plane geometry method. I'm going to do a reference line perpendicular to this initials roof reference line, so I'm gonna go upward. I'm going to do the third click to the right and then draw a rectangle. I'm going to select it, and then I'm going to mirror a copy, so Control Shift and M. I'm going to do a click over here and then a click over here. Let's see what we have. This is what it looks like right now, and now you can mess with the positioning of it a little bit. Put it exactly where you want it. So maybe I don't want it to be this wide. Going to go back to the floor plan and drag this maybe half a meter this way, and then do the same with this one, and that looks pretty okay right now. And I'm actually going to make them even smaller, so I'm going to select them once again and go maybe 80 centimeters each way. Go back to our 3D view and then select both of them and push them a little bit so that they intersect with the roof. Then I'm going to go back to my floor plan, and now what we have to do is we have to intersect this main roof with these two little roofs that we have over here. So in order to do that, we're going to have to split this roof into single plane roofs as well. So select it, right click, split into single plane roofs, split anyway. And once we've done that, you can select just one of these roofs. Make sure that your groups are suspended, and once you've selected the roof, all you have to do is you need to make a hole in this roof. You can do that by selecting your roof tool again, having this construction method rectangular selected, and we do one click over here and the second click here. And now if we go in our 3D view, we can see that there is a hole in the main roof. Now what we have to do is we have to intersect this main roof with these small roofs. So we need to have this line generated here. In order to do that, we're going to go back to our 2D view. We're going to once again select this big roof, and we're going to add a point here. Make sure that the insert new node option up here is selected. Once you've done that, you're going to do a click over here, right in the middle, and then these 2 points I'm going to drag downwards. And I'm going to do the same thing for the small roofs, so I'm going to select them and drag this point downwards. Same over here. In order to generate the intersection line between the main roof and the small roof, all you have to do is you have to select, in this case let's select the small roof, and now I'm going to control and click on this edge of the big roof. And now the big roof, if we select it, has been modified, and we have this intersection line generated. And now I'm going to do the same thing on this other side. So I'm going to select the small roof and control click on this edge. Now we have to modify this small roof in the same way. So we're going to select the big roof and we're going to control click on this edge of the small roof. Same thing over here. With the big roof selected, we're going to control click on this edge of the small roof. And if we go in our 3D view, we can see that the intersection line has been generated, and now the roof looks the way that it should. Now in order to drag a copy of this over here so that we have 2 of these dormer roofs, we're going to go back to our 2D view. We're going to select the small roofs, and we're going to control Shift and D over here to the right. So we have a copy of it. If we go in our 3D view, we can see the copy over here, and now we're going to have to drag a copy of this hole. You could either draw out the hole again, or what you can do is if you hover over this hole here, you can see that it's not the big roof that is selected, but the actual hole that we generated. So if we do the same, Control Shift and D, we can just drag it over here to the right. And we have our dormer roofs. Moving on, the last type of roof is an M-shaped roof. So in order to do that, we're going to go back to our 2D view. We're going to go over here to the right. We're going to make sure that our roof tool is selected and the geometry method to be single plane. We're going to draw the reference line. So 2 clicks and then the third one over here, and then draw a rectangle. If we go in our 3D view, this is what that looks like. Let's draw 3 more roofs. So we're going to do the second reference line over here, and then put the third click towards this other roof, and then draw another rectangle, and then let's do that 2 more times. If we go in our 3D view, we can see our roofs, and obviously for now the intersections don't work very well, but that's okay because I still want to move these 2 middle roofs a bit upwards. So I'm going to select it and then Control D, just move them vertically. And I think we should also maybe decrease the pitch for these ones. Let's set it to 30 degrees. And now all we have to do is make sure that they intersect correctly. So we're going to go back to our floor plan, and we're going to select one of these roofs. We're going to offset edge a little bit so that we have a bit of a distance between them, and then Control click on the roof that we want to intersect it with. Same way over here, we're going to select this roof and Control click over here. And if we go back to our 3D view, this intersection is now correct. We're going to repeat that, so select one of these roofs, offset the edge, Control click, and then select this one and Control click on the other one. and in our 3D view this is what we're left with. And now what we're going to do is we're going to increase the height of these walls. So I'm going to select one of them, I'm going to unsuspend the groups, I'm going to increase the height to 7 meters, and if we try to do the trim elements to roof options as we've done so far, we are going to see that it's not going to work very well, because these roofs are not created from one complex roof that has been split into multiple. I hit Ctrl Z. So in order to get these walls to be trimmed to the roof correctly, I'm going to use solid element operation. So I'm going to go to design, solid element operation, and I'm going to click get target elements. I'm going to deselect the walls, and then I'm going to select these roofs, all of them, and I'm going to hit get operator elements. I'm going to hit subtraction over here and select this subtraction with upward extrusion option, and I'm just going to hit execute. So if for whatever reason trim elements to roof option over here doesn't work, what you can use instead is solid element operations. So these are some of the ways that you can use your roof tool in ArchiCAD. I hope this was useful to you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!